What is up, everybody? This is Alex from IHE TV, and I'm talking about Naja 2, the biggest film of the year that you probably haven't heard of or seen. Everyone in China loves it. I don't even know if Avatar 3 is going to be able to make more money than this. So I spoke about the original movie a couple days ago. You can check out that review if you want thoughts on that. I thought it was okay. I respected it more so for that small budget of 20 million, but thought there was a lot of room for improvement. A basic hero's journey type story with quite a likable main character. First time director, just loads of room for improvement basically. So then give it 6 years, prop up the budget to 80 million. And what do they do with it? Well, I'm kind of souring on this film by the minute, the more I think about it. I think the only thing I like about it more than the first one is the visual fidelity, which, I don't know, can only take you so far. I think it kind of has fallen into the trap of leaning into excess instead of finding that balance where the epic scale of everything is working off a foundation of a character that you care about, at least one. Just one character that you care about would be cool. I complained about like the MacGuffin and kind of random ruleless world in the first one, and they triple down on that here, where a lot of the dialogue is just exposition about like these spells that just appear in a scene, or a bunch of like frankly boring mechanics about turning people into pills that make you immortal. And I feel like the IMDb like blurb is quite a good breakdown of how kind of hollow the plot is. After a great catastrophe, the souls of Nezha and Obing are saved, but their bodies face ruin. To give them new life, Zemran turns to the mystical seven-colored lotus in a daring bid to rebuild them and change their fate. So even the description of the plot is just like a bunch of and then. I feel like I just need to go through some of the plot. I've got some screenshots I can show off, but this will require me to spoil the movie, so top level thoughts are, I didn't actually like this. This was actually really weak. The writing is so shallow. Thematically, there is just nothing going on. So by the time you get to the big spectacle action, I just don't really care, especially with the runtime being as long as it is, and how much time they just waste on the dumbest stuff that like doesn't have any payoff at all. So the film opens on this cool exposition dump kind of catching you up, but then I kind of wish the movie looked like this, because I was excited to see what they'd do with that extra budget, where they would put it. And it's not like they don't put it to good use visually. There are lots of environments, lots of character designs. You can see they've really updated, especially the main characters look really good. One of my gripes with the first movie was this character, who I just couldn't stand. He was fine in this one. I did watch this in its original language this time, so there wasn't a distracting dub. That did help the experience. You can see the detail that they've added to especially these dragon characters and stuff like that. These guys were some of the better parts of the film to me. Yeah, you can see they kept this character design, or both of these designs, intact. Just added detail, improved that lighting a lot, the texture of everything. And from a plot perspective, the dragons kind of being locked away is way more interesting than most of what else is going on. Within the first half an hour, well, like 15 minutes, there's a huge siege attack scene with all these sea creatures coming in. I was a little bit disappointed they leaned more into sort of a photorealistic type texture, which can be kind of freaky at points. Like, it looks good, it's detailed, don't get me wrong, but like these frames at the beginning have so much more personality and style to them. And for me, I guess, how can I break down this plot problem I have? I kind of need you to pick a lane and be good at that lane. It's like, do you want me to care about your main character? And if you don't, that's fine. It's fine if you just want to indulge in spectacle action, but I need some cleverness in there. Like, how's the first movie outdoing it in terms of that? I complimented the whole painted world aspect of that first movie, where it's established as a location for Nezha to kind of train in, learn the ropes, and then it's reincorporated towards the end of the movie in a fun action scene. And I thought, oh, here we go. This is a new thing they've added to this movie. This kind of like dragon weapon that can open portals, basically. That's what the lava pouring out of was. Cool idea. Endless opportunities for creative action scenes using this kind of portal tech. You know, I'm thinking Spot from Spider-Verse, like the kind of stuff they do with that. They don't tend to, though. They do this, though. Gotta have a pig farting in an old man's face. There is a lot less gross-out humor. The humor's still not good. In fact, the best joke in the movie is in the after-credits Marvel stinger. But, like, if you want to be a comedy, maybe, like, have jokes that are clever or build on themselves or are reincorporated in some way. There is one joke that's reincorporated, and surprise, surprise, it's a piss-based one. I'm not surprised that these visuals win people over. These locations are really cool. I just wish I cared about anyone living in them. Like, this looks great. I wish there was some pathos or emotion linked to this world. They try to go for it, but it doesn't work on me. Yeah, again with these environments. Looks great, but then when you actually get into the weeds with what the scene is about, the first act of the movie is dedicated to him sharing his body with the ice dragon guy, because that was the only way he could survive. They establish that they can share the same body for about a week, and it's mostly used for comedy. They change the character's face to indicate who's in control. And now I guess is a good time to talk about the shallow main character, which just wasn't an issue in the first one. It had a clear arc. He's a kid that everyone is scared of. He has these fire powers, he's a godlike being, and over the course of his journey, he figures out not only how to use his powers, but proves that he's a good guy, he's not evil, and he carved out his own fate against the way everyone was judging him unfairly. So they wrap up that arc and just don't know what to do with him now. So they kind of just make him like a joke character. And I'm not looking for any extreme complexity from this, right? I'm looking for a basic hero's journey type thing. I'm thinking about the middle chapter in a lot of hero's journey trilogies that manage to have spectacle action but also have a main character that is endearing and that you care about. Most obvious one ever, Luke Skywalker. You understand what he believes in, what he wants, what he stands for, but his internal struggle is clear and visualized through these training scenes, through various bits of foreshadowing. He's an interesting main character to follow. Same with Poe. He has the basic hero's journey arc in the first movie, then double down on the philosophical angle where his arc in the second one is about trying to find inner peace and the difficulties he has doing that with the burden of knowing what happened to his family. They were all slaughtered by a peacock. You understand what he wants, what he stands for as a character, his beliefs. And the same can be said for another classic hero's journey character, Aang. It's like a pacifist monk and has to grapple with the idea that he might have to betray his philosophy in order to undo the damage that has been dealt to the world through Luke Skywalker, right? He voiced the fire dude. There's a tension there. He's extremely likable and fun to watch. You still have all the training stuff. All of these do. They will have training and learning something, overcoming something. And another more recent one, obviously, is Miles in Spider-Verse. Very similar sort of ideas to what Neja goes through in that first movie, where everyone has a certain expectation or idea about this character, and his arc is him finding a way to define himself against the will of everyone around him. Again, you still have the action spectacle, the style, the humor, but all of these are so much better written, so much more enjoyable. So then if I return to this dude, I don't know really what he believes in. He's kind of driven by anger and revenge more than anything. That's all I really associate him with. That and being a bit cheeky. A very flat character. The ice dragon dude is way more complicated and interesting, but it's not really about them in the same way. I feel like a bunch of sequels fall into this problem once they've done the obvious arc, they just don't know what to do. And even though it has the veneer of these training scenes and a big chunk of the movie are these 3 trials that he has to go through to become immortal, but again, they're mostly played for gags or mindless spectacle action. Again, like these environments. And then going back to the plot side of it, it's way more interested in dry mechanics. This is the MacGuffin of this movie, a big cauldron that turns people into pills that make you immortal. It might as well be a super weapon, a Death Star, whatever. Here we go. Yeah, gotta have a child pissing and everyone drinking it joke. Glad there's more pissing. Hey, you realize you're drinking my piss, man? This piss is divine. It's really? They just couldn't help themselves with the lowbrow stuff. I guess I've been talking about spoilers kind of, but this is the main villain of the movie, and you're introducing him by having him drink piss and compliment how yummy it is this year. This guy definitely went to the island. Man, yeah, this film is so overstuffed. They try to flesh out some of the side characters, like this stuff here, but there's honestly more time put to piss drinking and jokes than a real heart or backbone of characters. This is one of the trials. There's a demon town of marmots. Kind of a fun idea. But from a writing perspective, you'd want the trials to flesh out the characters somehow, or just do something in a narrative sense. But it either devolves into humor or spectacle action. And the humor's not really funny, and I just find it hard to care about spectacle action when there's nothing else going on for me to care about on an emotional or character level, or any level really. This is one of the other trials, kind of devolves into a big action scene again. Right, then you get to the fake out. So the city where Naja's parents live gets attacked. It feels like, oh cool, the stakes are being raised. They're finally putting him through something he's got to learn from and change as a result of. They make out that his parents have died in this attack, and the second that happened, I wrote down in my notes, Parents dead, don't believe it. Because I didn't believe it, because at this point I just didn't feel like this film had the balls to do something like that. But also the fact they explicitly didn't show it made it feel like, yeah, this is going to come back in some other way. There's going to be a reveal to do with this. Yep, more cool dragon spectacle. You're going to see that a lot in every review or mention of this movie. It will be about the kind of mindless spectacle. Nice frame of a dragon soy facing. Thought this was kind of funny. I think that's the bully character from the first movie who's like, I guess dead, got lavaed to death. I don't know, I'm sure there are examples of Rule of Cool being able to carry a movie for me, and I am a sucker for dragons, but I don't know, I'm sounding grumpy in this, but I just thought this was pretty boring, actually. Funny frame, don't know if they've thought that one through. So yeah, it's revealed that some of the dragons betrayed the other dragons. Quite like these character designs, but they're barely in the movie. In the last hour or so, kind of is just a bunch of set pieces linked together. They do the mimic spell joke again that was way better in the first movie and actually had like a setup and payoff to it. This, again, like all the other scenes, just devolves into a gag. This was a really weird gag. They kept cutting back to these sea monster people from, the army from the opening siege sequence. This octopus burns his hand in the lava, and then everyone around him starts drooling, and then he eats his own arm, because he's a yummy octopus. Quite surreal and strange. Oh yeah, and on the line of jokes, humor, I forgot to mention something to do with this shared body dynamic. This bottle contained roofie medication, basically. So to swap bodies, they like drug themselves. Just feels like quite a bad thing to put in a movie like aimed for kids. I don't know, that seems weird to me. Yeah, it reminded me of the drinking stuff in the first movie. It's like, what? Who's the audience for this? Well, I know it's kids. So yeah, it's all revealed that the baby guy is the true villain who framed the dragons for the attack on the city and uses this spell on these two to put like 1 million spikes in them so they can't move. And it takes 6 hours to wear off, they say. They desperately try to have a Kung Fu Panda 2 moment here, where all the main characters are stuck inside the cauldron. And while the parents didn't die earlier, the mother gets turned into a ball, into a pill, I guess. And they do the Kung Fu Panda 2 flashback montage sequence with sad music, except here it's unearned and had no effect on me. You can throw all the spectacle action in the world at the screen, but a goose that makes noodles has more emotional resonance than your 2-hour 20 particle effects flex. Particle effects flex. Nice. I thought this was really cool. The main villain uses like wood tendrils, like a tree's roots, and all of these golden leaves are soldiers that are pushing down so they can't break out of the cauldron. Cool idea for a set piece on a visual level. Then of course they win, and all the golden leaf soldiers fly around like a swarm of locusts, all about the enormous scale. Yeah, here you go, you can see hundreds of millions and millions of things flying around and crashing into each other. Yeah, and then one locust swarm army smashes into another locust swarm army, and it's all very big and epic. It's fairly well choreographed. You can actually tell what is going on despite the scale, which is a skill, but I don't really care about either of these armies, so it just feels kind of mindless to me. The baby guy transforms into the Hulk. Really reminded me of that boss from Elden Ring, if you played that game. He has a fun fight scene using the tree root powers, but is defeated by the one who can punch harder, because Neja is very angry that his mum is now a pill. And yes, it's all very epic. Just kiss already. Like the scene right before this is his dad saying, "Go with your heart, do what's in your heart." Then they golden hour smooch. Of course they don't, this is a Chinese film. The bad guy escapes, and then it goes to the end credits Marvel tease, where there's a whole gag where he has an underground prison that has a face scan technology that won't let him in because he's all beaten up by Neja and crew. So they get this guy to draw a picture of him and update the machine, I guess? It's like made out of stones, but he finds it so funny that he's got to draw him with all the lumps and swollen wounds, that then he puts him to sleep for 10 years and winds up getting trapped in his own prison. And that's Neja 2. If you want to switch your brain off and watch a bunch of boring characters smash against each other and particle effects fly everywhere, you might enjoy this, but this doesn't do any of the things I like about this type of storytelling. I'd quite like to care about a main character. There's more reference humor, there's like a whole Snow White reference, lots and lots and lots of slow-mo. It has such a long runtime and it just can't do anything plot-wise that is interesting. I don't think going bigger is instantly better. This feels like any number of superhero movies, but not one of the good ones. Wish there was more indulgence in the world building, or something a little bit deeper than the extremely basic video game-ass A to B to C plot. Yeah, I think I did rate this as a 3-star, but now I've talked through it, I'm actually going to lower that to a 2.5 because didn't really vibe with this, was mostly bored. So let me know what you think about this movie. I'm quite disappointed, and I don't really get why it's as popular as it is outside of the key jangly, mindless spectacle action. Right, see you in the next video, bye!